LSA Type 2 is called the Network LSA. Now, we understand that OSPF works differently depending on what media that we run it on. And that is very impactful to the LSA discussion we're having. The LSAs do change depending on what kind of medium we have. If we didn't have any broadcast networks or no networks with designated routers, we would get no Type 2 LSAs. Their purpose is to make a complicated subnet less complicated. Their purpose is to say, I'm just going to list off all of the routers that might plug in to a subnet. And the OSPF designers were really concerned about having too many routers plugged into a common subnet, and we'd get too much peering. And there is an established limit. It's about 50 routers in a subnet. We don't want to have more than that. Okay? We don't want to have more than that for OSPF. So they simplified the logical information describing that network. And so what it does is it lists off all of the attached routers in the subnet. It lists the subnet mask. It is advertised by the designated router. That's important. Not the BDR. It is advertised by the designated router. So you will only get these sent if you have broadcast networks or other network types. Some NBMA network types do have designated routers. You will only get them if you've got the right network types, and they will only be sent by the designated routers of those subnets. Now, both LSA Type 1 and 2 are scoped to their local area. And I think that should make sense because LSA Type 1 and 2 routing information both describe routes inside of an area. And if we're describing routes inside of an area, then that information needs to be manipulated somehow before it goes out. And so we don't let that information go out unadulterated. We scope it, we stop it. It is going to stop on the area border routers. Both LSA Type 1 and 2 stop on ABRs. So let's say this router is the designated router of the subnet. It is going to describe the two routers that connect up to the subnet, generate an LSA Type 2 chunk of information, and the packet type is an LSU, by the way. It is going to scatter through the area, but it will be stopped on the area border router.